The next Battlefield title has officially been revealed, and with that, we got a new development initiative called Battlefield Labs, where the developers at Battlefield Studios are going to be taking into account a bunch of player feedback. They're going to be doing mass-scale testing, and we got a little bit more information, including a little 10-second snippet of gameplay. As always, my name is Big Fry, and let's talk about it. Now, the video package we got for this new Battlefield reveal was about 5 minutes. 4.5 minutes of that is spent with the developers from DICE, Motive, Criterion, as well as Ripple Effect, talking about what their roles are on the next Battlefield title. They're basically wrapping all of these studios up under one umbrella called Battlefield Studios, but they're going to be working separately on different things. So with Criterion, they're going to be working on some of the single player stuff as well as multiplayer maps. Ripple Effect is obviously working on the single player stuff as well. DICE is focused strictly on multiplayer, and it was basically a puff piece saying, look at all of these studios working on the next Battlefield title. It's going to be the biggest, the bestest, the massivest Battlefield that we've ever seen. Look, we heard the same song and dance with the last one. 5 studios across the globe working on 2042, and look how that turned out. The truth is, when it comes to game development, having this many cooks in the kitchen and having so many people that you have to jump through hoops to be able to get things done is not the best way forward. We see that with games like the Finals, with Embark, former Battlefield veterans, smaller scale studio, not massive scope, and they were able to put something out that rivals most AAA shooters. So this whole song and dance of like, oh, look how many people are working on this. This is going to be the biggest Battlefield ever. I don't buy it. I also think that it hampers actual creative development when you have to answer to so many different people. If you have to make a change to a map, you have to talk to your superior, who then has to talk to another superior, who then has to message another studio across the way. It's more checks and balances, which could be a good thing in terms of organization, but usually that hampers creative development, and I would say the amount of content that we're going to see. Again, that is yet to be seen. That is just what my opinion is when it comes to all of these like super puff piece packages that these studios always put together. What I can extract that I actually enjoy about this package is the vibe, is the color palette, is the way that the editing is synonymous with older style Battlefield games. We have the glitchy transitions. We have the merch that the developers are wearing, the black on black. We have the nice green overlays with the HUD that looks like it's an homage to older Battlefield styles with the color palettes. And I know that that might not mean a lot to you, but it tells me that at least visually from the style of the aesthetic, we're looking backwards, which honestly at this point is a really, really good thing. We see some development shots of developers working on concept art models. We see this vehicle model here. We see some gameplay snippets here and there, little 1-second flashes. But then in the end, they announce what they're calling Battlefield Labs. It is a large, massive playtest initiative where players are going to be able to jump in early, which apparently you can join their Discord and sign up now. I will be signing up for this. I'll have a link down below for everybody else as well. You sign up, you test, and then they run it back, and they run it back, and they run it back, and we test. It is a large-scale initiative so that in their own words, they can validate what Battlefield players actually want out of the next Battlefield experience. And then, at the end of the video, we get a nice transition into the first 10 seconds of gameplay that we've ever seen for the next Battlefield title. I'm gonna let it play once, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Let's build Battlefield together.
I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a Battlefield game. It looks like the setting that we want. It looks like they got rid of operators. There's a bunch of faceless soldiers running around. I don't know if those are all players or if they're bots or whatever, but the vibe looks good. We're seeing some destruction elements at work with this pillar getting blown off as the player's running by. The actual amount of detail in this little hallway alone for this environment looks insane. This looks like what you would imagine visually Battlefield 4 would look like if there was a true sequel, like a true next-gen sequel to Battlefield 4 visually. We don't know anything about the gameplay right now, besides the fact that there's tanks. Obviously, it's a Battlefield style experience at its core, hopefully, but visually it looks really, really good. A lot of chaos, a lot of destruction, a lot of explosions. The animations look really dope. We see this rocket launcher come out. They level this building. The one thing I noticed with the editing is the building gets leveled. We see the dust and shit blow off, and it looks great, like from a VFX perspective, but we don't actually see that building collapse. So it's really hard to gauge how much destruction is actually going on in this scene. We see him pull out the rocket launcher. It looks like the building does kind of begin to crumble, but I can't tell if it's just an effect on the building or if it's I wish they would have shown that building actually come down. It was a weird point, and I feel like that clip should have been another 2 or 3 seconds just to show what kind of level of destruction these developers are actually trying to play at here. But outside of that, this 10 seconds looks better than everything they were showing up until the launch of 2042. I remember seeing the first gameplay of 2042. I'll never forget it. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. The second time I watched it, I was like, wait, there's some red flags here. I'm looking at this, and I'll be honest, I'm not getting any red flags from the actual gameplay itself, outside of those little editing things where they're clearly trying to not show everything about the destruction, which could lead to maybe we don't have full level destruction. Maybe it's not on the level of a bad company. I'm not going to get excited until we see like unedited 10 minutes of gameplay. Let's see where it's at. Obviously, again, it's pre-alpha. I don't know what that means anymore in this industry, because pre-alpha to a lot of people means this game could technically launch this year. But when I hear and think about pre-alpha, I'm thinking this game is like years away. And so I don't know if this is the marketing pre-alpha or if this is actually pre-alpha. Visually, like the way I see it is like if this was truly pre-alpha, I feel like the visuals wouldn't be this far along. Like we have the dust kicking up, the particle systems, we have a lot of the VFX in here. This looks like it could launch this year. We don't know about the content, we don't know about anything else, but just visually, the way that I would assume they would put these maps together is they would block them out, white box, no materials, no nothing, and then they would iteratively test and build from there. This being a pre-alpha and already looking, in my opinion, from a visual perspective, this polished, this could come out this year. So we got to see more. I haven't even joined the Discord yet. I wanted to make this video, put the link out for everybody. I'm going to be joining and seeing what this Battlefield Labs is all about. If there's any way I could provide feedback to these developers about Battlefield going into the next launch, and hope to fuck that they actually care about the feedback and that this isn't just some marketing ploy. Again, that all remains to be seen at this point. One can only hope that we actually get a solid Battlefield game this time around that players actually want to play. And this is currently the first step in the road to the next Battlefield launch. And I'm excited to be following this, whether good, whether bad. We're going to call it out as we see it. Let me know what you guys think of the Battlefield reveal. It's exciting times to be a Battlefield fan, hopefully. Fuck me, like I'm nervous, we'll see. But let me know your thoughts down below. Let's have a conversation and let's follow the road to the next Battlefield title. My name is Big Fry. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like on the video and subscribe for everything Battlefield. And I'll see you on the next one.